If you are scaling your business fast, but you are watching your profit disappear, then you are not alone. Most founders, as they start to stack top-line revenue, watch their profit margin slowly shrink, if not disappear entirely. And they watch it happen with no idea why. In this video, I am going to break down the 3 back-end fixes that could save you over $1 million in profit in this year alone. No hype, just the structural changes that are gonna allow you to find and reclaim the lost profit that is currently leaking out of your back-end. So without further ado, let's dive into this. The first thing that we need to fix on our back-end is delivery efficiency, meaning how long does it take for us to actually produce the results that we are getting paid to produce. So if you're a marketing agency, this is how long does it take for us to actually run the ads, check in with our clients, deliver the result. So for example, if you're a marketing agency, this is how long does it take for us to build and launch ads and deliver on the outcome that our clients are actually paying us for. Right now, we've got this huge back-end team. They're showing up, they're working hard, they're putting in the hours, but it's taking so long for us to actually deliver on client results. Why is that? If we really look at it, your team is spending hours and hours doing stuff that doesn't actually contribute to the result. They're spending hours on meetings, they're spending hours in Slack, they're spending hours trying to track down information, figure out what's going on, put out fires, pick up dropped balls, but none of that is what you get paid for. None of that is the result that you are there to produce for your clients. What we want to know is what percentage of our team's time is actually being spent doing the stuff that makes us money. The term for that is called utilization. And if right now, if it feels like you are hiring more and more people, but things are moving slower than ever and somehow less is getting done, what's happening is that your utilization rate is dropping. Your team is spending a larger percentage of their days doing busy work that doesn't actually produce the results that you get paid for. The solution then is to increase our utilization rate. So what happens is when we increase our utilization rate, we take the same number of hours that we're already paying our team for, but we are putting them to work, driving revenue and driving profit. What happens is that you end up getting more work done with fewer people. And the gap between the revenue produced and the labor cost it takes to produce it, the gap between those two becomes your profit. So the greater we're able to stack and scale our utilization rate, the more profitable our back end becomes. So that's number 1. We have to figure out where is our team spending their time? What is it that we actually get paid for? And how can we simplify, organize, and systemize our back end so our team can spend more and more hours doing the things that actually drive revenue. And this brings us to back-end fix number 2, and I kind of alluded to it, which is meetings. Very simply, time spent talking is time not spent driving revenue into your business, right? So every hour that you or your team are on meetings, answering emails, answering Slack messages, just talking, all of that time is underutilized time. It is not making you money. So how can we talk less? How can we talk less? And how can we talk more effectively, right? Because people need to talk. Meetings need to happen. I'm not advocating for just like delete all of the meetings off your calendar. But the question is, are we having the right meetings? And are we running those meetings as effectively as possible? Have you ever hopped on a meeting that you get to the end of and you're like, seriously? What did we even just get done? It feels like that was kind of a waste of time. Like, yeah, we talked about some stuff, but I don't see anything that's actually moving the business forward from the meeting we just had. Great, that was hundreds of hours spent on a meeting to bring all of your very expensive people together to not make you money, right? So just by talking less and just by talking better, we are able to free up profit inside of our business, because again, we're able to take the same amount of time that we've already paid for in the form of our team's salaries. We're able to free that time up from something that wasn't producing any revenue and put it to work on activities that produce an enormous amount of revenue for the same cost. The gap between becomes profit. So your meetings and your Slack are the next place to look to free up profitability inside your business. When you do an audit of what are we talking about, how effectively are we talking about it? And then third, very important question, how much of this communication could be automated with the right systems and technology? What you will find, or what we find when we ask that question inside of our clients' businesses, is generally about 50%. 50% of the meetings can be eliminated or simplified. 50% of the Slack chatter can absolutely just go away. It literally doesn't need to happen at all. And we do that by automating the communication within your business through systems. So right now, if you're thinking like, Jhana, sounds great, but like, maybe I have other more important things to focus on than the meetings inside my business, I wanna share a super quick client example just so we can see how powerful this is. We had a client who had this meeting twice a week. It was 60 minutes, twice a week with his entire team of like 20 people. And this meeting pretty much was him going around and asking every single person one after the other, what are you working on? What do you need today? So he was just manually auditing the business by pulling his entire team together and asking them this question. Cool, that's an entirely useless meeting. So we just eliminated it. We tweaked his systems, we eliminated the meeting entirely. What he saved over the course of a year was $62,000 just in labor cost, right? So that meeting was costing him 62 grand just to have his team sit there so he could ask them what they were doing that day. So great, saved him 62K. And we saved him over 2,000 hours, right? 2,000 hours that his team was collectively spending on that meeting that can now, for the same cost, he's already paid for their time, that can now be put to work inside of his business. And with 2,000 hours, his team was able to produce an additional 250K. So 250 plus 60, $310,000 saved in profit, not revenue, profit in 1 year just by eliminating one meeting. One meeting, 2 hours a week. And that's just one meeting. That's not even to account for all of the hours we saved him on Slack, all the hours we saved by paring down his other meetings. We were able to save our client hundreds of thousands of dollars just by auditing their communication and helping them talk better. This is one of what I call the hidden profit centers that is hiding in plain sight inside of your business right this second. There are actually 6 hidden profit centers that we look at inside of our clients' companies. And so what we've done is we've built what I call the hidden profit finder. It takes 10 minutes. It asks you just a couple of questions about each of these 6 hidden profit centers, and it will tell you which of these hidden profit centers is actively costing you profit right this second, and it will actually estimate how much profit is leaking out of that profit center and what you can do tomorrow to start to reclaim some of that hidden profit. So if you want that, it's an entirely free tool. Grab it. It's in the link in the description. It's my gift from me to you, because at the end of the day, you are working so hard. You're working so hard to bring all of that profit into the business. And then it is turning around and leaking out through stupid things like ineffective meetings. Okay, so we've talked about utilization. We've talked about communication. The third back-end fix that could save you $1 million in the next year is decision-making. Let me explain. Right now, correct me if I'm wrong, but your team is probably coming to you all day, every day, asking you to make decisions. Small decisions like, hey, what do we do with this? What do we do with this client? How do we solve this client fire? How do you want me to execute this task? What do you want to do over here? What should I do today? All of that is decisions that are flowing up to you at the very top of the org chart. And then you have to decide and then flow it back downwards to whoever then takes that decision and executes, right? First thing it does is that it wastes an enormous amount of time. Right? So instead of just making the decision themselves, the team now has to go up to you. You have to spend your time making the decision, take it back down to them. And meanwhile, they're like milling around, just waiting for that decision to come back before they can execute on it. Totally wasted time. And then they can go and they can execute. So it's a huge time waster. And what we just determined is that wasted time drops our utilization rate and smashes our profit margin. So having centralized decision-making where all decisions pass through you is a really unproductive use of time. The second thing it does is that it actually lowers your team's performance. Your team will actually perform worse if they don't ultimately own the decisions that belong with their role. If they don't own the decisions, it ultimately robs them of ownership, of autonomy, and of proactivity. If I don't make the decisions with my role, if I need to send everything up to my founder to get their sign off to be able to move forward, then I'm not gonna move as fast. I'm gonna be super reactive, right? I'm just gonna be waiting for my founder to tell me the next thing to do or the next decision that is made. I'm not gonna be as creative because I don't actually get to decide on any of the ideas that I come up with or any of the ways that I think things could be better. And I don't have ownership. When people lack ownership, you will see an immediate drop in their buy-in, in their motivation, in their drive. When you transfer ownership to them, when they have full and complete ownership for not just doing the work, but the decisions and the challenges that go along with their role and with their responsibilities in the business, what you will immediately unlock is motivation, performance, productivity. On average, we see a 2.1x boost in output from well-managed teams that have full ownership over their roles and the decisions that go with them. So by pushing decision-making down, by empowering our team to make decisions without them, by investing the time and energy that it takes to train them on how to make the right decisions that go with their role, we save an enormous amount of time and we unlock 2x team performance and productivity. And you do both of those things for free, right? It costs you nothing to let your team make their own decisions, but it saves you an enormous amount of time and it doubles the productivity and drive that your team brings into their role every day. So for the same amount of cost, we get huge growth and gain on top of it. And the gap between these two things is profit. So if right now your team is coming to you for everything, you're making every decision within your business and it's pulling you into slack, it's keeping you trapped in the weeds, and it's making you frustrated because you feel like your team can't execute without you, then we need to take a look at your leadership. How are we leading in such a way that we are empowering decision-making downwards and we're gaining all of the time and profit back by leading in that way? So to support you with this, check out my next video where I break down how to build and lead high-performance teams, where we're going to go over in more depth some of these concepts around decision-making, ownership, autonomy, and ultimately how to get the most amount of profit from the team that you have. There you go, you can check it out, and I will see you in the next one.